Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, friends all around the world, avid footy and ball watchers, to another episode of Touchline Banter. We're coming back a couple days later from the last episodes. We had to take a break. What we're talking about today in one of the first episodes is going to be the Madrid derby. We're both upset. Ruben is actually very heated.
I'm really mad.
Still, it's been about about almost a week, I think.
It's going to be about a it'll be a week tomorrow because we're recording it on the Friday. It'll be a week tomorrow.
Yeah. So it's going to be about a week since that game happened. There's a lot to break down, a lot to talk about. It's a great time of year. And if you're a gamer, it's known as Broketober because all the games are coming out. I love it how like the gaming companies just shovel all the games at one point, and it's like, here, enjoy. And you probably don't have any money, but that's fine. And you're spending all of it. Baseball playoffs is here. Will Ruben get to be a hater again for Toronto sports fans because the Jays are playing the Yankees? I actually preferred to get the Yankees out of the two, but also I know that like that I say that with knowing that the Boston didn't have anyone like Aaron Judge obviously on that team, so that's someone they're definitely gonna have to look out for. It's gonna be an interesting series. How are you feeling overall? You know, world of footy, Real Madrid, Yankees fan.
I'm happy that the Yankees won, mostly because like the Red Sox are from Boston, and I hate anything to do with Boston. And it was two really good competitive games, and then a third game where the Yankees pitcher just kind of dominated the Red Sox lineup. He pitched 8 innings, struck out 12 batters, didn't walk anyone, and only let up like 4 hits. Like and he didn't allow a run, right? So he had like an all-time.
Yeah.
I was kind of sad Boone didn't let him start the 9th just to see. Like obviously if he let someone on, pull him, but I guess Boone wanted to be cautious. You don't want to like ruin the kid's arm or like his confidence if he does kind of melt down or whatever. But it was good. It's always fun. I mean, look, it's October baseball. It'll be Yankees Jays. It's a divisional matchup. I do think most Jays fans probably wanted to play the Yankees because the Yankees have earned a reputation of being a team that can't do the fundamentals right. And when the ball's in play, their defense has been a bit shaky. We'll see if it's improved. I think they were the winningest team starting like August 6th or so. They went on like a 23-something run to finish the season. That's why they pushed the Jays so close in the division because they were winning a lot. And the Jays kind of tailed off. Like I would say the Jays kind of limped to the end of the season where the Yankees kind of surged and looked stronger. But you know, throw all that out the window at this point. It's a new series. The Jays are the home team, so this Saturday, game 1, at the Rogers Center. So yeah, I'm excited. It should be good. Like this is for me. We are approaching like my favorite time of year for sports because, and that's like not. Like my actual favorite time this year will be the World Cup because I think a World Cup is like so unique that it's like it's always my favorite moment when everybody's cheering for their countries and like everybody gets wrapped up in it. Like no matter if you watch a lot of football or you don't watch any, everyone has a team, especially now this year that Canada's in it and is hosting. Like I think Toronto's going to be really fun to be in. But discounting international tournaments like that, October, November, when you're still getting like playoff baseball, if you like hockey, the NHL's beginning to ramp up, basketball's around the corner, Champions League is now in full swing. We've had a couple weeks. All of the major leagues in Europe are playing and kicking off. There's just so much sports. The NFL, like it's like if you have a significant other or a partner and you're someone that loves sports, they know that this is their least favorite time of year because there's always a game to be put on. It's either on the main screen or it's on the laptop or you're following it on your phone, but there's always a game to watch. So this is my favorite time of year in terms of just the amount of sports that you can be watching, which is like, it's beautiful, man. It's
100%.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, again, for significant others. I feel bad if you're not a gamer or into sports, because either your significant others either gaming through Broketober with all the games coming out, like Ghost of Yote's coming, a new Pokemon game, a whole bunch of stuff, or yeah, they're just watching sports on 15 different screens and they're like yelling at you of like, why don't you pay attention to me? And you're like, because the Dolphins can't get a touchdown, and I'm fucking pissed.
Because
Anyway,
Tua Tagovailoa is dead.
yeah, Jesus,
Tyreek
but
Hill's
yeah.
definitely dead. Get that man.
Oh wow,
Anyways,
brutal. Yo, speedy
that was a
recovery.
gross.
That was
Yeah.
rough. Rough.
Honestly, man, forget about the speedy recovery. I think that man is cooked. That knee looked gross, man. And he was already losing a step. Like the talk going into the season was like, oh, you look at the metrics, he's not that fast anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope he gets healthy. I hope he comes back. But I don't know. I have a hard time believing it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that. On the Jays Yankees side, I mean, I just hope the Jays don't implode on themselves. I just want it to be a good series. The Yankees win, that's fair, but let's not have John Schneider pulling a pitcher in the fourth inning who's pitching lights out again. So.
I forgot about that. That was bad, man. That was bad. That was 2 years ago, right? Or was it last year?
Yes, 2 years.
Yeah,
no, because
they didn't make the
playoffs.
Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs.
But anyway,
he was dealing too. Yeah.
Oh,
crazy.
Yeah.
Full 4 innings.
But speaking of
welcome to the dugout banter.
Yeah. Welcome to dugout banter, where we rip into John Schneider. But yeah, speaking of bad, for the viewers, the first episode today's doubleheader, we're going to talk about Real Madrid, mainly on the derby. We might talk about probably the result against Kairat as well. We'll see how it goes. Again, if you're not a Real Madrid fan, you can probably watch the next episode. If you want to see us yell at our team and why we're mad, stick around. You'll probably enjoy it still. But yeah, we mentioned bad managers in baseball. We can talk about a bad manager. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Got to start off spicy. Yeah, so terrible game for Real Madrid. They lost 5-2. I'm going to let you start. I'll just preface this by saying, they went into this game playing an Atletico side that looked like mid-table at best, if you want to put it that way. Real Madrid like riding a high against Levante, right? It was against Levante, right? They won.
Yes.
Yes. And then, it was just words that come to mind: naive, weak, underprepared, embarrassing. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, Ruben. I want to hear. I know you have a lot to say. I believe you're more angry than I am still, even after a week, which says a lot. But yeah, rough day for everybody. Rough day for Xabi Alonso. What are your thoughts? What are you feeling a week later after the result?
Well, I think naive is a good word to categorize it. And for me, the reason I kept getting mad is because I felt like I kept seeing and reading takes that either knocked something loose in my head that I was believing, but wasn't sure if I was seeing it correctly. Or it was something so asinine that I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, why are people like, why is that the lesson to take from it? And possibly that's just a curse of being too online. Like, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Reddit, I'm in that group that's the official supporters club of Real Madrid Toronto. So you're getting all these takes from all these different kinds of people. Some of them are real, some of them are bots, some of them are people that have been watching Madrid forever, some of them are people that haven't been, some of them are people that know ball and people that don't. Like, I think that's just the reality, the level of knowledge about a sport that you watch really depends on what you bring to it and how much you're trying to know about it. So I guess I'll start by saying this. Yeah, Atletico came into this game looking pretty rough. And this was the first real test. We kept saying it. We said it in the episodes that we released before this. Where is Xabi Alonso's defining win of the season so far? Where is the game where we see that the system is clicking, that the players have bought in, that he's really getting the most out of these out of this team, and that he plays competition that is the kind of competition we're gonna have to beat? And let me be clear, like, I think there's a way for us to win the league that does not require us to beat Atletico Madrid or Barcelona. Like, and I'm not saying we lose both games to both teams, but if we draw the next one against Atleti, if we draw both against Barcelona, I do think eventually they'll drop points, whether to each other or to another team. But I'm not talking about winning the league. And let's face it, like, we're Real Madrid fans, winning the league is a priority always because we don't want Barca or Atletico to win it. But it's about the Champions League. And in the Champions League, these are the teams you're going to have to beat. You're going to have to beat Atletico Madrid. You're going to have to beat Barcelona. And you're going to have to beat teams that, in my opinion, are better than both of those teams. So I was hoping to see something to hang my hat on tonight, and I didn't. To speak specifically about the game, the thing that so I watched the game, got really mad, and was super disappointed. And then I went back and watched a replay of it. I watched the extended highlights, tried to come to some conclusions. Obviously, right off the top, Jude Bellingham should not have started. I love Jude. Jude is one of my favorite players. It's clear he wasn't fit. And by starting him, all Alonso did was open him up to critique and to be the reason that they lost. It reminded me so much of the Zidane picking Varane against City or whatever, when it was clear that Varane was just like not ready and he got shell shocked and made all these mistakes. And I mean, it kind of is the Carlo thing too. I forget what player it was, but he was it Carvajal coming back from an injury? I don't know. Someone was coming back from an injury. He started them and they didn't play well, and he had to pull them almost immediately. And it's like, yeah, like, why are you doing that? Mbappe finished well, Goulet, whatever. But I think the thing that knocked it loose for me was, if I asked you, what is Xabi Alonso's best, or no, not what you think, what Xabi Alonso thinks his best 11 is, or what his best formation is, do you think he knows?
Mm-hmm. No.
And that's an indictment to me. Like, I get that it hasn't been that long, but he's been working with these players since June, at least. Not all of them, but funny enough, the ones that he hasn't been working with since June are the ones that have not, like, Carreras is starting every game.
Yeah.
So, like,
he was awful.
he was. And, like, you know, he's a young player, have a bad game, whatever. Not a lot of people were good. The defense got bullied. It got bullied.
Yeah.
And it made me worried, not about Housen, funny enough, although he could have done better on the second header where he just kind of got beat to it and wasn't physical enough. But if Militao is not going to be physically at the ready to battle in the way that we're going to need, and it seemed like he wasn't because he had to be pulled off at half, obviously, with a little bit of a knock, and we'll see how serious it is. They need to find the partner for Housen that's going to complement him and do the things that he can't do. So what can Housen do well? He's very technically gifted. He's playing those long passes that break the lines. He's really comfortable on the ball, whatever. We need someone to be the muscle. Ironically enough, I think him and Rudiger would be beautiful together if Rudiger still had knees that worked, right?
Militao was supposed to be that, but that game, it didn't work out that way.
It didn't work out. And again, the reason why I'm saving my harshness on the players is genuinely because I saw a lot of fans be like, yeah, the players aren't playing for the shirt. They didn't know. Okay, but whose responsibility is it? Like, last season, we gave a lot of stick to Carlo for how the team came out during these games. Yes, we said the players had to pick their heads up. Yes, we said whatever. But we talked about maybe Carlo's message has gone stale. Maybe they just aren't listening to him anymore. Maybe the squad needs a refresh, et cetera, et cetera. And granted, Carlo was doing that with, like, not having center backs to pick and, like, no real right back, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
They've invested in this squad. And you're telling me that Xabi Alonso, a man who has played in the derby as a player, a person who is from Spain, could not accurately and adequately transmit to his players what the atmosphere would be like? That he couldn't get them ready to play this game? Say whatever you want about Diego Simeone. I bet he had the people on that team ready to go to war. I bet he
Mm-hmm.
reminded them about what happened in the Champions League. I bet that he reminded them about the greater implication of this game. And it seemed like Xabi Alonso wants to play this on the tactics board. I I'm seeing too much Pep Guardiola and not enough anything else from Xabi Alonso. The flexibility is nice. The different formations are nice. But if I can't trust you to know what team you're putting out on the biggest games to get the most out of your team, I don't know. I don't know that I like what I'm seeing. And I know that it's
Mm-hmm.
early, and I'm not condemning the entire reign of Xabi Alonso, but it is frustrating to me to see people are so desperate to defend this coach that they think is going to be good. Um, and a lot of what I'm seeing is like, well, maybe we should get rid of Vinicius. Well, maybe Rodrigo starts over Vinicius, or maybe, or maybe we drop Jude. I saw a post on the Real Madrid Reddit. Are Franco and Arda playing so well that you have to drop Jude Bellingham? And let me say this as clear as I possibly can: if Xabi Alonso is not a good enough manager to make sure that Jude Bellingham and Vinicius are part of any 11 that he trots out there and makes it work, then he is not the manager for Real Madrid. He just isn't. I'm sorry. We've talked about this, and anybody who's listened to this will know my
Yep.
opinions on this. I think that tactics coaches are really great. And like, obviously, if you're on a lower, a mid to low table team in any league, you have to kind of find ways to get any edge, and a lot of that involves formation, players, whatever specific roles. When you're coaching an elite team, your job is to make the most out of what you have there. It should not require people fantasy dream casting. Oh, well, if we sell Camavinga and we sell Vinny, then we can buy this guy, and then Mbappe shifts over to the left, and then we buy a number 9 who we don't even know, or maybe Gonzalo becomes Raul. Like, that's so many things, man. That's so many.
Gonzalo becomes Raul.
Well, like, and that's literally what I'm hearing. I'm seeing
Jesus.
people be like, oh, it's like all on the players, it's all on the players. These are the same players that won multiple Champions Leagues.
Yeah.
And again, we thought that the point of Xabi, or at least I thought, the point of Alonso coming here was that, you know, we're going to refresh, we're going to put an impetus on the youth, we're going to try things. The only youth that's benefited is Arda. We can't even really say Carreras because, like, again, I don't know what Fran did, but Xabi Alonso does not want to play Fran at all, it seems like. And Mendy's not healthy yet, so there's no one pushing the Carreras.
Yeah.
There's no one pushing Housen because Rudiger's injured. Militao's still not 100% fit, so they have to give him breaks. Alaba clearly is not at 100%. I mean, he played during Kairat and looked okay, but I think those are the games where you use him against Kairat, against lower Spanish league teams. So Housen has to start. If he's not injured or on a red card, he has to start. Obviously, Tchouaméni has his role pretty defined. I think he's doing good. He could have done better on some of the plays that were happening there. But again, the midfield is so disconnected. Like, that's the problem. I'm seeing so many people try to slate Jude or Valverde. I mean, there's the talk that Valverde refused to come on as a right back, and then everybody's shot that down. He made a post about it. And it's clear that he's just not putting these people in the best places to get the most out of them. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Valverde was a player who last year and going into this season, people were like, he should be the captain. That's like, he's got it. Everyone remembers the time against Atletico Madrid, actually, when he took down Alvaro Morata to keep that game. Yeah. In Madrid's favor, and you're telling me that we can't get the best out of that guy, the guy that works hard and sweats and bleeds for the shirt. Like Xavi can't find a way to highlight his abilities, and that's honestly, like, I'm trying not to be so harsh on Arda, because if you look at the stats and everything, like, yes, he's creating more chances than anyone in the top 5, key passes, all that. It's clear that he understands Mbappe more than anybody in terms of where Mbappe wants the ball, and Mbappe understands how he's going to release the ball. I would argue that is a failure of Mbappe as well, to not try to build an understanding or try to change his runs for the other players. Like, the goal that Arda scores in this game, why is Mbappe not filling that position. You know, like Jude makes a run to clear space for Arda. Arda finds the pocket in the middle. Fucking Mbappe is just on the left, kind of in Vinicius's way, really. If Vinicius wanted to like attack and go 1-on-1, but Vinicius obviously like plays the ball down. Arda scores, is beautiful. But yeah, I don't know. Everyone's acting like Arda's the reincarnation of Ozil, and I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. And I mean, I'm seeing more talks for Ceballos to play, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's the
Oh
solution. Like
God.
Ceballos played a lot last year, and look what that did. Ultimately, I'll end off on this. Like Gonzalo Garcia had a great Club World Cup, and we thought, oh, he'll make his way in this game that was clearly desperate for like a presence in the box. Because anytime someone put their head up to look for a cross, no one was there because our number nine's not a number nine. Gonzalo Garcia got in at the 89th minute when we were already down 2 goals. What was he going to do? Truly, what was he going to do? What time are you giving him to do anything? By that time, Simeone used the rest of his substitutions, killed the rest of the clock, and we were done. The only thing left to happen was Valverde with not a great giveaway, but obviously Griezmann was going to break his spell of not getting a goal against us. It was just meant to happen. Yeah, man, I don't know. I will say like this really damaged my perception of Alonso. He's gonna have to work to get it back to me because like man, this isn't Leverkusen. I need to know that you know who the warriors on this team are that you're gonna go to fight with. And let me be honest, if you don't see Jude as a pillar, if you don't see Vinicius as a pillar, fuck man, I think you're a bad coach. I'll never forget what Carlos said when he was coaching AC Milan, and the director came up to him and was like, we can get Baggio. And he's like, oh, well, Baggio doesn't fit in the system that I play because he was playing the Christmas tree, whatever he was doing back then. And he said he regretted that. He's like, Baggio obviously was an amazing player, and I realized then that if my system can't fit a player that talented, then I need to change my system to fit the player. I haven't seen enough of that. I've seen the system change to fit Arda, who is not great defensively, who added to us being bullied in the midfield. You know, everyone wants to talk about the defense getting pushed around. It's not like Arda is a great presence in either box. I don't know. The last thing I'll say, because I've been rambling for a bit now, Julian Alvarez. Remember when I said that guy would be perfect as a number 9 for Real Madrid instead of getting Mbappe? Oh my God, Julian Alvarez is like one of the best players on the planet right now. Took that penalty, a free kick. Like Courtois maybe could have been a bit a better position there, but like it's a beautifully placed goal. Julian Alvarez was playing like a man possessed, and I'm like, that's what a real number 9 looks like. That's incredible. I hate it here. I hate it here so much. But yeah, please tell me what you took away.
Yeah, so I let Ruben go first because obviously I know he was very heated still, and he actually watched the game because shout out to Ruben because wake up at 9:30 in the morning, whatever time that game was, and it was early. Watched the entire shithole, and yeah, I caught the extended highlights. I watched Xabi Alonso's comments after. I mean, it was a translation. Okay. So the only player that I could give like a decent rating to, I don't even know. I really don't think there's anybody. Like a result like that, like I know the scoreline said 5-2. It realistically could have been like 7 or 8. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mbappe scored, Goulet assisted, and scored as well. That's fine. I don't really care. Embarrassing. Genuinely embarrassing. How did we go into that game so unprepared? I know the squad is very young, a lot younger. The old guard has basically all gone. But there's still warriors there, just like Ruben said. Valverde, Militao, Courtois, Carvajal started, yes. Yeah, all warriors. How are we not anticipating the press from Atleti at home to be so intense? How can we not deal with it? Why is this constantly a problem? I don't understand it. I genuinely don't get it. Yeah, the two goals that they scored, it was basically off mistakes, off like incidents in the game. It wasn't really off passage of play from Real Madrid. So that's why I'm like, it's irrelevant. I don't really care. Defense got bullied. No ifs and buts, no ways around it. Ruben mentioned it in our chat after the game. Alexander Sorloth looked like prime R9. Genuinely, prime R9. Bullied the shit out of Dean Huijsen and Eder Militao. To me, this brings up a question about Dean Huijsen now. There's one thing to play for Bournemouth and in their stadium of like, I don't know, 40,000, whatever it is. And then there's one thing to play in a derby away from home at the Wanda Metropolitano, where I don't know what the statistic is now, but we've had a very, very rough time for some years now. That's a whole different battle. I blame the players a lot because, it's always, to me, the manager can't go out himself and play on the field, but also to me, Xabi Alonso has to take a lot of the blame on this. And I mentioned this also to Ruben in our chat. I will always love Xabi Alonso. I will believe that he is one of the best DMs in football history. I will always love what he did for Real Madrid. I'm sure Liverpool fans love him as well. There's this thing that Real Madrid fans are saying right now, and I'm kind of seeing it in chats, that we're kind of hell-bent on seeing it work with Alonso. I'm not saying that I don't want it to work. I'm not saying that I don't believe it's going to work. We came into the season very positive. We got tactics guy more, but also we know that he's someone who can manage and has been there and has an aura with him. We're not really seeing that much and that as much. His man management hasn't been the best. I mean, he's gotten a reaction out of Vinny, but you could, it's not a very harmonious side right now. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that, it's perfectly okay if Xabi Alonso doesn't work out as a manager. That doesn't do anything to him, in my opinion, as a player that he was for Real Madrid. Xabi Alonso is not destined to be Zinedine Zidane. There was one Zinedine Zidane. He worked for a reason because of the way the squad was, because of who Zidane was, because he understood that, I don't need to be tactics guy. I need to just be man manager guy. Put the players in the best positions, enable them to play the best from where they are. And that's why, they won the 3 Champions Leagues, etc. Everything we know there. So there is a complete world that Xabi Alonso doesn't work. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but this was a huge indictment on Xabi Alonso. And the reason that I say that is genuinely, why did Jude Bellingham start? Jude Bellingham had played about 20 minutes, I think, in the past few games. What does that say to Franco Mastantuono, who's been playing amazing? Great. Has been doing very, very well. I understand it's a derby game, but you should go based off of form and who's been in the squad. So why is Jude Bellingham, who's not fully fit, who hasn't seen game minutes, who is going into basically his first starting game against Atletico Madrid away from home, a very physical, a very intense game? You're genuinely telling me, Xabi Alonso, that you thought that was the best decision? I don't understand it. And this is why I'm giving Bellingham a pass. Genuine, he was awful, but I'm just giving him a pass because he's clearly not fit. But again, what does Franco Mastantuono think after that? It's I've been playing this well, he's an Argentine. We know Argentines can be very feisty. They're kind of like that Uruguayan South American group of players who work very hard and they can be very difficult to play against. I'm going in on good form. It'll be a good chance to show myself in my first derby ever, and I'm on the bench for a player who hasn't played 20 minutes this entire season. What the hell? Genuinely, why? What are we doing? The substitutions didn't make any sense to me at all. At all. Anything. They took off Eder Militao. It looked like he had an injury. He came off at half. I understand that. Why was Jude Bellingham not taken off instead of Arda Güler? I understand Arda Güler was is a bit of a liability in midfield for his physical lack of physicality, as
Oh
Ruben has
my
said.
god, I forgot. I forgot. Well, they took him off because of the yellow card. I forgot about that too. This is the yellow
Okay.
card with the high boot. The high boot that he gave away
Yes.
the penalty.
Yeah. Yeah. He
Yeah.
gave away
Oh,
the
I forgot
penalty.
to
Yeah.
mention that. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a fucking idiot. Like what an absolute clown move. Like so stupid, man. Sorry, continue. I'm keeping that in my head because I have more to say
Yeah. Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. I don't think I'm as harsh on Goulet on that one. I mean, it's a naive young mistake. You got to be much smarter. You can't give away that type of penalty. Why is your boot that high in the box? I think I'll just leave it there. But regardless of that, like, why is he coming off? Because his creativity has been well. We know he links it well with Franco Mastantuono. Why is he coming off? Genuinely, why is he coming off? And why is Bellingham still on? Why is Bellingham playing until the 70th minute? It's not working. What else do you need to see? What else do you need? Why did it take that long to bring on Rodrigo? Whoa, what are we doing? You know you need something different. What's going on? It doesn't make sense. It genuinely, nothing of that game makes sense. Again, me and Ruben are talking. I said, maybe you go into that game with a 3-back because you know that they're playing with Sorloth and with Julian Alvarez up top. And Sorloth is a very physical player. And you know that you have a young center back with Hoyson going in there. Maybe you need an extra defender, even if that is Raul Asensio. Maybe you go into that. You know that they're going to be a very physical team away from home. You know that they're going to be very high intensity. You want to play Arda Güler. You want to play Jude Bellingham. Why didn't we play the diamond? Put another player in midfield. Overload the midfield. Why didn't we play the diamond? Genuinely. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes any sense. It's still early overall with coaches and just general new season. There is the mentality that I choose to also adopt that, wait until Christmas. Don't really look at the table until then. There's patterns that you can pick up on. There's things that you should be aware of. There's things that you should be concerned about, positive about, etc., etc. I think that's fair. I'll probably give him until Christmas unless shit absolutely hits the fan before I make like a huge judgment call. So far, yeah, no convincing wins. We thought that against Levante that was the one, but it wasn't. It clearly wasn't. And it just looked like awful. Genuinely awful. Moving forward again against Barcelona is going to be a huge test for him, and it's going to say a lot of what he says about this. His comments in the press conference, they were kind of like he was managing the questions well, but also I didn't like some of his responses when he's just like, yeah, like this could be a good thing. Like we can learn from this. It's like we can take this and we are angry just as the fans are. It's like, dude, stop sugarcoating it. Like it was complete shit. Just tell the fans what.
Yeah.
I think just tell the fans like what they know and they feel is that this was awful and we need to do better, and that's it. I think that's genuinely all you can say. We'll see going forward, with how Bellingham does when he gets more fit, how he's going to fit him into the squad, what's going to happen to Goulet, what's going to happen to Mastantuono. But yeah, I really don't disagree with what Ruben was saying, that we've seen Tactics Guy, but Tactics Guy doesn't know what his best 11 is and what his best formation is. Yes, you didn't have a preseason. You had to play the Club World Cup. That's why I'm going to choose to give you more time. But mentality is something that you don't necessarily need preparation for. Mentality is something that like is built into that dressing room, and Xabi Alonso knows that because he's played there. So why were we mentally so weak and unprepared?
Well, and I think that's the part that's concerning, because like this, and again, I've seen a lot of this reaction of like, well, all of the leaders are gone, and I'm like, okay, but the thing is, Vinicius can be a leader, and he's actually one of those things that people say like, oh, I loved it when Ramos would like talk shit to the opposing team, or he would be there on a hard tackle, or whatever. Vinny does some of that stuff, and people get mad at him for overreacting to things. And then Valverde also does some of that stuff. And like, look, my biggest issue with Arda is the fact that he's being held to different standards than the other people. I know you're saying, oh, high boot, like just one mistake is a bit naive. Yeah, but add that to the other mistakes. He was at fault in the goal against Marseille. He's not been like, for all of his creativity, he is also giving the ball away a lot. So it's like, to me, I'm like, okay, it's clear now we're not doing counterattack football. We're not just soaking up pressure and trying to hit them on the break to try to maximize Vinicius's talents. Okay, we want to control. Xabi Alonso clearly from the school of Guardiola in that control and minimizing mistakes will lead you to success. Keep the ball as far away from our end, keep it more on their end, attack, passing triangles, whatever. Okay, Goulet is probably one of the best midfielders we have at doing that specifically because that's where he shines. The problem is then we have to set up our defense in a way that actually accurately helps that happen, and we haven't been. Like you're saying, why did we not play with a back three? Why did we not do certain things if you're going to try to highlight this other thing? Why not play a diamond? Why not do a bunch of other things? The thing that's frustrating is like, yeah, everyone wants to give the keys to Goulet, and I'm like, the attacking stuff is good, but like, I don't want a team that's gonna score 2 and surrender 5. Like, and I think that he's a big part of that. Like, I really, really do. And look at what happened to Raul Asensio. Raul Asensio had a couple high-profile mistakes in a competition that, let's be honest, doesn't really matter. Like, I know everyone wanted to win the Club World Cup because Real Madrid, Perez said it would be nice if we won the first one, blah, blah, blah. It's a branding opportunity, just visibility. Chelsea won the Club World Cup, and look what they're doing now. They're inconsistent. They're dropping games to teams that they should not be. I think they lost in Europe recently as well. To Benfica. Oh, they barely beat Benfica, but it was like they labored to that win. They don't look like a team that we thought going into based on the Club World Cup and some of the other stuff. We're like they might challenge for the title. I had them finishing 3rd in the league. Now I'm like, God damn, like I don't know if they will. Like they're just so inconsistent. So the Club World Cup doesn't really matter. Meanwhile, Raul Asensio, someone who, again, I have had critiques of, and I do not think should have been a nailed-on starter or whatever, but it's like Shayan said, we can't make some of these changes earlier. We can't empower some of these other players if we think that the system would change for the better. No, we only do that for Arda Güler, apparently, and Mbappe. Like, those are the only 2 players that we can mold the system to fit. That's what it feels like. And let me tell you something, as good as Mbappe has been, I think he might deserve that. Goulet does not deserve that to me. Again, another high-profile mistake. That penalty is inexcusable. Like, compare it to, again, like City game. We're going to talk about it in the other episode, the Premier League, whatever, Champions League stuff. Haaland was asked about the penalty that was given. And Haaland obviously didn't see it because he was playing and it was far away. It was in his box or whatever. And he's like, well, yeah, when someone has a boot that high up in the box, like it's kind of a penalty no matter what. Like, so I don't really have to see it. Like, that's basically what he said. He was very honest. Meanwhile, compare that to the amount of Real Madrid fans I saw being like, oh, but he touched the ball first, but this. I'm like, okay, whatever. We know what's going to happen if you put the boot in a dangerous area. Like, we know. So how come because it's Arda, we have to pretend like that wasn't the dumbest fucking thing I've seen? Like, how come we all have to have this delusion that makes it not an insane challenge, an insane thing to do? Like, it's the same thing people were doing for Raul Asensio last year. Oh, yeah, of course that was a penalty. Or like, oh, no. Oh, he dove. There was that one penalty where the player dove. And it's like, yeah, but why did you have your leg in that position at all? Like, why even give them the chance to make that call? Like, you're leaving it in the referee's hands.
Yeah, don't leave it up to them.
I don't know, man. Yeah. And I think that's the frustrating part because again, it's like you're saying, Franco didn't do enough to warrant being the right winger with how good he was playing. Like, if you're gonna play the kids anyways, there was Dean, Carreras, Arda, etc. We can't throw on Gonzalo a bit earlier just to see if a 9 changes. Like, I'm even advocating for taking out Vinicius, who I think had a solid game, but not a great game. Do something, but no. Like, the thing that boggles my mind is all the negatives you can say about Xabi Alonso in this game, most of them you could say were the exact same negatives we had with Carlo Ancelotti. He took too long to make subs. He did not make the right subs. He trusted players that he shouldn't have. And he was not prepared for the occasion. The formation and the way that he briefed these players was not enough. And again, as much as everyone wants to say, well, if it's a problem from last year, why is it not the player's fault? Well, I'll tell you why. Because Carreras wasn't there last year. Housen wasn't there last year. Arda barely played last year. So, like, this is really his introduction to the team. And Mbappe, this is his second year. Those 4 players, which make up around half of what our starting 11 was, are not Carlo Ancelotti guys. If you want to say that Vinicius is still dragging it, if Bellingham, whatever, which again I think would be harsh on Bellingham because he's just coming back from injury, as we talked about. And then who else? Like Tchouaméni, I guess. Like, but again, he's one of the better players. He's been doing well. So, like, and you could argue that Alonso is using him better than Carlo could or was able to, partly because of injury, partly because of injuries to other positions that forced him to play him in a different role. And then there's Carvajal, which I would argue is not a Carlo player or a Xabi Alonso player. He's just a Real Madrid player. So to tar him with the brush, like, so we're really talking that, like, most of this squad, Xabi Alonso has a big influence on and should have been able to prepare. And he didn't. So as much as I agree, the players are out there playing, it's a complete whatever. And then, like, he gets on, he does the press conference and he says exactly the same things Carlo Ancelotti would say. The defeat is very bad. We're mad. We have to take the positives. Blah, blah, blah. Atletico did this well, blah, blah, blah. Same thing. So if we got a discount version of Pep Guardiola who is giving me the same quotes that Carlo Ancelotti did, then why not just keep the guy who won 2 Champions Leagues and actually back him? Like, that's why I'm so mad. That's all that's been rattling in my head. And again, I understand this is an extremely emotional reaction based on this loss. And part of it, yes, has to do with the fact that we haven't won a game against Barcelona or Atletico Madrid in a long time, because that record dates back to when Carlo was there last year and we completely shat the bed in a lot of these games. I understand that this record is not all on the feet of Xabi Alonso. But again, man, like, I think people forget that Carlo was never really backed like this. Like, never.
That's the biggest thing, right? Because Xabi Alonso's been backed, and Mastantuono was his guy, and they're saying that we're giving him his flowers for saying that he wanted to sign Mastantuono. Okay, sure, we'll give you the positive notes for that. He wanted to sign Alvaro Carreras. Absolutely, he's been great. This game was terrible. People are saying that he's only good going forward. I don't necessarily agree with that, but we'll see how he is going forward. But overall, it's been a great signing. We'll give you his flowers for that. But we have to treat him fairly, and we have to give him the criticism where it's warranted. Again, I think I think we mentioned it before, and probably most Real Madrid fans know this, probably most of the world knows this, that because of how bad last season was, Xabi Alonso probably gets the entire year regardless of what happened, like, unless it absolutely implodes, which it most likely doesn't go that direction. My only, again, the overall point that I was trying to make, my only caveat is that we don't need to force it. We don't have to force Goulet into the squad because we want him to be the next Ozil. We don't have to force Xabi Alonso to work because we want him to be the next Zinedine Zidane. It's okay if it doesn't work, but we have to realize that sooner rather than later. I'm not saying that's the case right now. That's what I'm saying right now. Again, I'm going to hold judgment basically until Christmas. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the Clásico goes. We'll see how the Champions League goes overall.
Oh, my God.
He needs to make adjustments. One thing I think fans need to realize, and I think Xabi Alonso needs to realize as well, when you look at the recent track record of managers who had success, Carlo Ancelotti, Zinedine Zidane, even Jose Mourinho to an extent, and then look at the ones who failed. We had Lopetegui, we had Santiago Solari. There's another person in there I'm also missing. Is anybody else? No, right?
You said Lopetegui and Solari, both?
Yeah.
That's it.
And then before that was basically Fabio Capello, who also didn't really had a good tenure, yes?
Yes. Fabio Capello struggled. Rafa Benitez was also not really good around Madrid. I think he
Benitez was not,
bombed out
yeah,
really quick. Yeah.
yeah, but that was kind of he was punching above his weight kind of thing. So when you look at,
It's
I
just
mean,
so
he
funny.
was.
No, it's just really funny
Yeah,
considering like his history at
yeah,
Liverpool
that
and
was just
stuff.
an
So,
odd appointment. It should never have happened.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is that Mourinho had tactics, but also Mourinho was an excellent man manager, and Mourinho knew how to get the best out of players and get them to do a job playing out of position, like Goran Pandev for the Inter Milan team that I'm wearing today. Um, he was able to do those kind of things. Zlatan Ibrahimovic will kill still to this day for Jose Mourinho. Carlo Ancelotti had tactics despite of what people thought, but he also just enabled players to play that well. Zinedine Zidane was an even bigger epitome of that. I remember watching a documentary about Phil Jackson, and during his time with the Bulls, the team they were playing someone like the Knicks or the Pistons or someone like that, and they weren't doing well. And he calls timeout, walks away, and then Porter asked him, he's like, "Why'd you just walk away?" He's like, "What am I gonna do? Like tell Jordan, Rodman, and Pippen this is exactly what you're doing wrong? Why are you playing like this? What's going on?" He's like, "They're some of the best players in the world. These players are like don't need to be told and babied and given like insane direction." He's like, "They need timeout. As a coach, it's my job to realize that it's not working. Let's take a break. Let's reset. I'll let the leaders lead. I'll let the players do what they need to do, and let's go forward." I really think Xabi Alonso needs to take a book out of that. Because again, this is not Leverkusen. It's all fine and dandy that you went unbeaten there and you stopped Bayern's run. That's great. Real Madrid fans don't give a shit. Genuinely don't give a shit. Congratulations. You need to learn how to man manage. You need to put the best players, the leaders, the winners into the best positions. And if he doesn't realize that sooner or later, he's going to have issues. And again, that's just my point of if it doesn't work, that's fine. Not every player GOAT is going to be a manager GOAT. Zidane was one of very few. Very, very few.
No.
I guess my overall question, I mean, we all got to watch for time, is that what do you think needs to happen going forward? The result against Kairat was expected, but it was good. Rodrigo played very well. That was one thing I took out of it. Do you think he takes anything from that game? Is there anything specific
Honestly,
that you would like to see?
I wouldn't take much from the Kairat game. Kairat is, despite they had a pretty good game, the Champions League before that. The Champions League game before that, I think they played a team really tough, if I remember correctly. Let me look. Maybe I'm wrong. But regardless, they were expected to win. They won. We're about 50 minutes. So this is my last thing I'll say. I'll let you say your last thing, then we could go on to the next episode. But yeah, what would I take away from the Kairat game? Pretty much nothing. I mean, Rodrigo did look better. Mastantuono did look good. It's hard to really judge off the opposition that we had. Asensio looked fine on the right back. I do think that if we are going to play Carvajal's out for a bit and Trent is out for a bit now. Although Trent's coming back sooner, but even still, I think they're both going to be out for most of October. I would like Asensio to play on the right. I don't want to see Valverde play there. I know people are frustrated with Valverde, but his best position's in the middle. He does a lot there. His industry is important. If you put him on the right, we see what happens. Our midfield gets overrun. And what's not going to help that is Ceballos. And I don't know if Camavinga is ready to play a full 90 minutes. So if it ends up having to be that we have to deploy a midfield of Ceballos, Tchouameni, and Goulet, or Bellingham and then Goulet on the right, I'm going to cry because I do not want Ceballos to start on this fucking team if we're playing a good team. What do I want? I want to see this coach that we were supposed to get. I want to see a guy who's actually going to blaze his own trail. I did not want discount Pep Guardiola. And, it was all cool in the summer when it was cool quotes and he was being real suave and looking handsome. But now against PSG and Atletico Madrid, I've seen two very disappointing performances, two teams that allowed themselves to get shell-shocked by errors, and he's the one putting the players in these positions. Like, yes, the players should know how to do a job, and some of those errors are unmistakable, but some of those errors have been committed by players that he trusts, i.e. Arda Güler. So where's the punishment for that? Like, I don't know. The man management for me is where it begins and ends. Like, it's convenient to hate Vinicius because his form dropped off or whatever. I think he is getting better. And I honestly think that if he still had Carlo there, wrapping his arm around him, giving him confidence, we would see a better version than what we're getting. But because Xabi Alonso is playing this stupid fucking game of pulling him out early, of like being really frosty to them in press conferences, like that's not how you bring the best out of a player like Vinicius. It works for some people, it doesn't work for others. There's a clip of Rooney talking about how Sir Alex Ferguson would never yell at Park, I think it was, or someone else on the team. And Rooney was like, so he would just yell at me saying the things that Park did. He'd be like, why'd you let the ball, like whatever, blah, blah. Because Sir Alex Ferguson knew if he talked to that player the way he can talk to Rooney, it'll light a fire under Rooney and it'll make him put his head down and go further. It won't light a fire under that player that he wants to light a fire under. So you have to understand that as a manager. And let me say this, Mbappe is not getting that same treatment. He's just not. He's just not. And Mbappe is scoring goals, but he's not doing his defensive duty all the time. And like, look what happened when a coach really talked frankly with Mbappe. There's that clip of Luis Enrique being like, you got to defend, blah, blah. It didn't help him. So like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, truly, what are we doing? Vinicius, Rodrigo, they all deserve these frosty ass quotes in the media. Raul Asensio gets banished to the fucking Shadow Realm. Fran Garcia is never going to play a game that matters ever again, apparently. But Arda Güler gives up a penalty, gives away goals, and we're not even going to mention it. No, the most he says is, this is why we invest in a player like Arda Güler. Fuck that. I don't want to invest. If I wanted to invest, we would have invested in Martin Odegaard. We would have invested in all these players. Like, I don't understand. I think that Arda Güler can be a great player. I do not believe he is that great right now to do this fucking gymnastics routine we're doing of forcing him into this team. We're treating him like Barcelona treats Yamal.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's as good as Yamal right now.
No, he's not.
So what are we doing? So what I want to see, man, give actual opportunities to the other players. Again, I'm fine if you bench Vinicius. Bench him for Gonzalo. Let's see if Gonzalo can play the 9 off of Mbappe on the left and Franco on the right. Put in Endrick. Let's see what we have in this kid who we bought, who people said could be something special. Play the diamond with 2 strikers. Hell, if we're playing a bad team like Getafe or whatever, fucking put Endrick and Gonzalo as a big man, little man striker and a diamond behind them and just see. Let's try shit if we're really going to try shit, if we're really here to see who we have. But let's not give thousands of opportunities to these players and none to these other players, because that's what's really starting to piss me off, because we haven't looked good. We just have not looked like the dominant team. The possession stats look okay. We've been winning games. Every time we've come up against real opposition, it hasn't been the same. So I don't know. And you're being very, very like wait and see, I guess, because I did that last year and I got burned for it, maybe. And the other thing is, like, Xabi Alonso hasn't done anything. Again, he won the German league. That's good. But the German league is not as strong a league as La Liga. And it took Bayern falling off of their perch. I want to see if he can actually be a coach that can win the Champions League and to be winning these big competitions. And I want to see it. If he loses El Clasico in anything other than a hard-fought game where Barcelona wins by a goal or something, I'm done. I'm done. Like, I'm going to be fully on the get him the fuck out club every time. Like, that's the game. You have to know it. You have to know it. You have to. Because, again, we can't just keep making excuses, man. That's the biggest game. There's 4 games in La Liga that matter. The 2 against Atletico Madrid and the 2 against Barcelona. Is it fun to lose to Sociedad away? No. Can I stomach it? Yeah. But I can't stomach another Barcelona loss. I just cannot. And if Marcus Rashford fucking scores on us, I'm going to kill myself. Sorry. Let's bleep that out. I'm going to unalive myself. YouTube. Anyways, you say I'm done.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong on any of your points. realistically, the only actual competition and hard games we've had was against Marseille and against Atletico Madrid. And how do we look against that? We barely scratched a win against Marseille, and Atletico scored 5 for the first time in like I don't know, like 70 years or whatever, some statistic I was hearing. Xabi Alonso, it's a wake up call. You either get it right or you don't. And to the Real Madrid fans, just singing that he's the greatest manager ever when you should give him until the end of time, you're stupid. If it's not working, it's not working. We want to claim that we're giving rotation to every players. Again, why is I understand Mbappe's been the best player this season, and likely players need to play up to Mbappe's level. But why is he not being rotated? Why is Endrick never playing? Why is Garcia never playing? Why are we shoehorning Ceballos? Why? It doesn't make sense. If we want to rotate, let's actually rotate. Let's be authentic. The reason that I've supported Real Madrid is because they've always been an authentic club. They don't claim to say certain things and then stand for different ones like others, i.e. Barcelona. We have to be authentic in what we're doing. With Ancelotti, you knew we're not getting a lot of rotation. We're not getting a lot of players coming off of the bench, but that's fine because you knew that was going in, and he stuck to that. He didn't say something different. So Villarreal is going to be a tough test. They're third right now or fourth. I'll just double check right now. They're third. Yeah, 2 points behind. If they lose, yikes! We got problems quicker than we wanted, but we'll see. I'm going to choose to stay positive. We're both going to choose to stay positive. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, he's got to be a wake up call. Things got to change. I guess we got to go over to the next episode. We'll promise we'll be more positive on the next one. We're not going to be as mad. There's lots of different things we can talk about. Yeah, and I think that's it. I guess we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.